The morning light seeped gently through the curtains, casting a golden hue across the room. For Hannah, this was the most sacred time of the day, a moment of stillness before the world's cacophony demanded her attention. For years, mornings had been a chaotic race against the clock. Please subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon for new updates. A whirlwind of snoozed alarms and rushed routines. But a pivotal moment had shifted her perspective. She'd come to understand that the way she began her day set the tone for everything that followed. Now, her mornings were a deliberate practice, a carefully curated ritual that brought her mental clarity and positivity. It had started with a book. A friend had gifted her a volume about the transformative power of habits. At first, Hannah was skeptical. Her life felt too busy for such luxuries. But one quiet evening, she found herself leafing through its pages, captivated by the simplicity of the concept. Small changes, repeated consistently, could lead to profound transformation. She decided to experiment. One week, she would wake up just 30 minutes earlier than usual. That was all. 30 minutes. The first morning felt unnatural. Her bed, warm and inviting, seemed to beg her to stay. But she placed her alarm across the room, forcing herself to get up. Groggily, she made her way to the kitchen and brewed a cup of tea. Sitting in the stillness, she realized how foreign it felt to have a moment entirely to herself. No emails, no urgent tasks, no noise. She simply sat and sipped, letting her thoughts settle like leaves in water. Encouraged by this small success, Hannah began to expand her routine. She started journaling, something she hadn't done since childhood. At first, her entries were brief and scattered, but as the days passed, her words flowed more freely. She wrote about her dreams, her anxieties, her hopes for the day ahead. The act of putting pen to paper felt cathartic, as though she were emptying her mind of clutter, making space for clarity. Meditation came next. Hannah had always dismissed it as something only practiced by monks or wellness influencers. But she found a simple guided meditation app and committed to trying it for 5 minutes each morning. The first few sessions were frustrating. Her mind wandered incessantly and she felt more restless than serene. Yet she persisted. Over time, she noticed subtle changes. The act of focusing on her breath, of observing her thoughts without judgment, became a grounding force. She carried that sense of presence with her throughout the day, responding to challenges with a calm she hadn't known she possessed. Movement became another cornerstone of her mornings. Hannah had never been much of an athlete, but she discovered a love for gentle stretches and yoga flows. She'd roll out her mat in the living room, moving through poses as sunlight streamed in. The physical activity woke her up, but it was more than that. The connection between her body and breath felt like a bridge, anchoring her to the present moment. On days when she skipped her practice, she noticed a difference. She felt less centered, more reactive. One particularly transformative addition to her routine was gratitude. Each morning, she wrote down 3 things she was grateful for. At first, this felt forced. Her lists included generic items like family or a roof over my head. But as the weeks went on, her entries became more specific, more heartfelt. The vibrant color of autumn leaves. The kind smile of a stranger at the grocery store. The way her favorite song made her feel invincible. Gratitude, she realized, was a muscle that grew stronger with use. It reframed her perspective, making even mundane moments feel significant. Hannah's mornings also became a time for intention setting. After her meditation, she'd ask herself, "What's one thing I want to focus on today?" Some days her intention was practical. Finish the project proposal. Other days it was more emotional. Be patient with myself. Having a clear intention gave her days a sense of purpose, a guiding star she could return to when distractions arose. As her routine evolved, Hannah noticed profound changes in her mental state. She felt more grounded, more capable of handling stress. Her relationships improved. She was more present with friends and family, less likely to snap or withdraw. Even her work benefited. Tasks that once felt overwhelming became manageable, approached with a calm focus that surprised even her. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. There were mornings when her alarm felt like an unwelcome intruder, when the lure of her warm bed was too strong to resist. On those days, Hannah reminded herself that the goal wasn't perfection but consistency. Missing one morning didn't mean failure. She'd simply begin again the next day, returning to the practices that nourished her. Over time, her morning routine became a source of joy rather than obligation. She began to look forward to the quiet moments of solitude, the rituals that anchored her. It wasn't just about starting the day on the right foot. It was about creating a foundation of mental clarity and positivity that rippled outward, touching every aspect of her life. Her journey inspired others. Friends noticed the changes in her demeanor and asked what she'd been doing differently. Hannah shared her routine, encouraging them to find what worked for them. "It doesn't have to look exactly like mine," she'd say. "The important thing is to make it your own." Some friends adopted journaling. Others took up yoga or gratitude practices. Each found their own version of a morning ritual that brought them peace. Reflecting on her transformation, Hannah realized that her mornings had become a metaphor for life itself. They were a reminder that clarity and positivity weren't things that just happened. They were cultivated, nurtured through intentional actions. Each morning was a chance to begin anew, to set the tone for the hours ahead. As the seasons changed, so did her routine. In the winter, she added cozy touches like lighting a candle or wrapping herself in a blanket while she journaled. In the summer, she'd take her tea outside, soaking in the early sunlight and listening to the birds. The core elements remained the same: stillness, movement, gratitude, and tension, but she adapted them to fit the rhythm of her life. Hannah's mornings were no longer a race against time. They were a sanctuary, a space where she could connect with herself before stepping into the world. And as she moved through her days, she carried the lessons of those quiet moments with her: the power of presence, the strength of gratitude, the beauty of intentionality. Her mornings had taught her that clarity and positivity weren't destinations but practices woven into the fabric of everyday life.